A groundbreaking program in Alabama is bringing advanced precision medicine to rural and underserved communities. Southern Research's Catalyst program offers free genetic testing to adults 19 and older, no insurance or income requirements. The data is then used to advance clinical trials. Let's get you involved in the conversation. We want to know, would you take part in free genetic testing for research? Scan the QR code on your screen or go to abc3340.com to answer. With the sensitive nature of genetic data, many wonder how safe their information is when they consent for it to be used for research. The I-Team's Valerie Bell investigates what's being done to keep patients' privacy protected.
Catalyst, a program by Southern Research, is giving Alabamians free genetic testing and personalized information about medications and chronic disease risks.
It points us not just to things about cancer, but now we can tell you about chronic disease and chronic disease management.
Dr. Marquisha Jarman, owner of Comprehensive Pediatrics and Internal Medicine in Hoover, is one of the providers in the state offering the test to patients.
For me, I've always wanted to offer my patients an opportunity to participate in research studies and to have an opportunity to have testing done, because I'm a family. I see families and I see trends in families, and I'm like, if I had some genetic testing that you didn't have to pay out of pocket for, because a lot of them they're really expensive. I said, I would like to offer it to you.
The process is simple. Patients give a blood sample at their doctor's office, like Dr. Jarman's.
Once we complete it, we draw the blood, put the packs back in here,
Which is then shipped to a genomic lab in Massachusetts for analysis.
and we ship it off.
At Broad Clinical Labs, each DNA sample is carefully screened by researchers.
We're looking for those little signals that might say that a person is at increased risk of developing a certain disease.
That information is then used to build a clinical report that could help patients and doctors make better healthcare decisions.
The American College of Medical Genetics actually recommends looking for certain sets of diseases that can be found in our DNA and that are what we call actionable, which means that if you find out that you are at an increased risk of one of these diseases, there's something that you can do. So these include things like breast cancer, prostate cancer, cardiovascular diseases, a whole host of different types of cardiovascular diseases, type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
But for many patients, the big question is, who else can access this sensitive information?
People are still very hesitant, especially when I say this is still research.
As participants submit their DNA, questions and concerns about privacy and data security come to the forefront.
Let's just use the name John Doe, for example. If John Doe was a patient of yours, what assurances would you tell him that his data and his information isn't going to go to third parties, insurance companies?
Because Catalyst is through Southern Research only. They have their protocols that they have to follow. They do not deviate from those protocols.
According to Southern Research, the system follows the highest security standards using National Institute of Standards and Technology protocols. Personal identifying information and genomic data are stored separately, linked only by a unique code.
They get a specific identifier for their sample that does not travel with their name and that information. And then things go into two separate systems. So there's a patient system where they put that identifiable information. The genomics information is in a completely separate system that utilizes that PID. And then it's all locked down by NIST and secure portal type standards.
The lab running the test is also tightly regulated.
We are regulated by the same laws that regulate all kinds of clinical testing that's done at hospitals or doctors' offices. And it means that we have all the systems in place to preserve privacy of patient information and ensure sort of the highest quality of testing.
Broad only receives the test orders and codes, then it's processed and returned.
The data that we generate here is never sold in any way. It's not actually available to any other companies or insurance companies. This is contained completely within the study, which is managed by Southern Research in Alabama.
Participants get clinically useful information, and their data helps researchers learn more about how genetics ties to common diseases.
We want people to understand how that works so that they can accurately use their data to inform their health care and their family.
Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 News.
And results take about 6 to 8 weeks. Every participant is then connected with a genetic counselor to help them understand their results, the risk, and whether more testing is needed. And let's look back at our poll question. We asked, would you take part in free genetic testing for research? There's still time to answer. Just scan the QR code on your screen.